Fresh fragrances that last a long time. We're talking 8, 10, even 12 hours for some of these fragrances. I know that's something that interests a lot of you, so in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 of my favorites. Stay tuned. Starting off with one of the best out there when it comes to aquatic powerhouses. We're talking about Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, the Eau Intense flanker. You know, this one's an obvious choice for a lot of people. It's a requirement for this video in my opinion because it's fresh, it's incredible out in the air, and it lasts a very long time. We're talking around 10 hours on my skin with this one. You know, bare minimum, I'm getting 8 to 9 every time I wear it. But most of the time, it's more in that 10-hour range, and it does project pretty heavy off of my skin. I know a lot of people get similar performance to what I get. This is a lovely fragrance that directly off of skin can be a little bit strange and overpowering and very salty. I know that's my experience with it at first, but out in the air, in the trail, is where this one really shines. This is a lovely scent out in the air that's going to draw a lot of positive attention for you. It's a compliment machine for sure, but the best part is it's a compliment machine that performs. They're not too expensive. You're not going to break the bank. They're in that average price range for a discounted designer from discounted sites like Fragrance X, Fragrance Net, Kingdom Fragrances, places like that. One that's kind of a must, especially for if you live in a warmer climate where it's hot most of the time. This will definitely be a go-to for you. Again, that's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, the Eau Intense. Next, they don't get much more aquatic and fresh than this one. It's kind of goes hand in hand with our first fragrance we were talking about. I'm talking about BVLGARI Aqua Marine. This is a very beloved fragrance and beloved line from BVLGARI, especially for the warmer weather. And this one, 8 to 9 hour fragrance, easily on my skin. I know I've had some people tell me they only get about 6 or 7, but it's all subjective to someone's skin and how it's going to react. And this one, like I said, I get in that 8 to 9 range. Oh man, and it's just super fresh. It's one of those fragrances that I'm pretty confident in saying is you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that will smell you and say you don't smell good or what you're wearing offends them or bothers them, because this is a beautiful, fresh, aquatic marine scent. Has that saltwater beach type of vibe. Extremely fresh and citrusy up top. There's a little salty bitterness from some seaweed that's in here, but it's very wearable. It's not anything that's off-putting. Just a beautiful fragrance that has been getting more and more hype over Aqua Atlantique, over Aqua Amara, I've noticed over the last year, and it deserves it. The whole line's good, don't get me wrong. There's something for everyone that like aquatic fragrances in the Aqua line, with this one being really geared towards the summer, even more so than the others because it's a bit lighter, but at the same time still performs really well. Scoop this one up if you can find it for a really good price. I found this one actually at a Marshall's for $40 if I remember correctly for this 100 milliliter bottle. Bordering that cheapy territory. Again, that's BVLGARI Aqua Marine. So you know I gotta have something for the floral lovers in this video, and this is one of the freshest, most floral fragrances in my collection that I absolutely love, and it is a powerhouse. One of the strongest fragrances in this video. It's actually marketed for the ladies. It's KAJAL Eau de Parfum from the original collection. That beautiful purplish bluish type of juice. This one has a lot of citrus up top. We're talking orange, bergamot, lemon, and then it has an orris note, which is the root of the iris flower with this very, very fresh rose, and it's a powerhouse. Nothing that's overly feminine. If you like floral fragrances, get a sample. There's a link down below. Get your hands on the Discovery set. Save yourself 10% with the code. Try the Discovery set of the original collection from KAJAL. This is in there. This is a fresh, floral, citrusy powerhouse. I love the way this fragrance smells. Has a little bit of an upscaling class to it while not being too serious. It's one that you can absolutely wear with a tank top to the beach, to have a drink poolside if you really want to. But it's a beast. It's a 12+ hour fragrance on my skin. It's very loud. You don't need a lot of sprays. As you saw when I sprayed it from the atomizer, very pressure sensitive, big sprays. You'll get a lot of juice on your skin, and you'll get a lot of reactions with this one because it does have a bit of a uniqueness for being so simplistic at the same time. Lovely fragrance that don't let the fact that it's marketed for the ladies fool you or detour you, because it's a very unisex fragrance, especially if you like fresh iris fragrances. This is one of the freshest, whereas there's a nice balance with the iris and the rose, but a whole bunch of citrus up top. Lovely fragrance that I urge you to try if you're looking for just a fresh, long-lasting powerhouse and you like florals. Check out KAJAL. This is the Eau de Parfum. So if you like Aventus but want something just really fresh without the smoke, they definitely have a fragrance out there for you. It's bond9.com. Better known, the full name is http:// excuse me, tongue twister, www.bond9.com. This is, dare I say, a little bit better than Aventus. You may not agree if you've tried it, and that's okay. I think it is. I like it better. It is a monster off of my skin. It is super duper fresh and fruity. It's juniper berries, it's pineapple, it's black currant, it's all the fruitiness and then some of Aventus with woods, vetiver, stuff like that, instead of that birch and the floral aspects of Aventus. So if you like Aventus but it's not really your thing, at the same time you wish there was some differences with it, maybe not as smoky, maybe not as musky, so on, whatever, this might be the one for you, because it's super fruity and fresh. And like I said, it's a beast. It's a compliment machine. I love this one. I'm so glad that I picked up a bottle. This is a 50 ml. This is going to be heavy in the rotation as the weather starts to heat up. We just had a cool front roll through, oddly enough. That's the part of being in the mountains, I guess. But for the warmer weather, looking for just a fresh, long-lasting beast that has that Aventus style, but not smoky like Aventus. This is a much fresher and brighter version, if you will. Definitely get your hands on one of the little wrapped bonbon samples and try it out. They're all over online, eBay, places like that, bond9.com. It's a fresh fragrance that definitely lasts a long time. So you're saying you like Roger Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne, but you wish it performed better. Hey, I'm with you. It's an incredible fragrance, but it's not the longest lasting. Freshy out there, the quality's on point. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to getting performance out of that scent profile, you kind of have to look to inspirations and clones, essentially, which some people are against, and I understand, but I have no problem with when done right. And SAMY ANDRAUS Blue Sapphire is Roger Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne done right. It takes the aromatic fougere, turns it into a citrus aromatic, and it performs. I just wore this one again a few days ago. I have multiple bottles of this. It's fruity, it's fresh, it's slightly metallic, it's beautiful. It's a compliment machine, and it's a 10+ hour fragrance on my skin. And you're going to spend about 25 bucks on 1 ounce. They do have a 10% off code that you can use to save yourself 10%. There's a variety of them out there. TLTG 10 will save you 10% from SAMY. There's no special affiliate link. Just go to SAMYANDRAUS.com. This is my favorite fragrance from SAMY. He's got about 20 or so fragrances at this point. The Sapphire collection is definitely his best and brightest, with Blue Sapphire being the must-try, the must-have from SAMY, in my opinion. Like I said, if you like Roger Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne, you just wish it performed better. This takes away the herbaceous components of it, everything that makes it a fougere, turns it into a citrus aromatic, and ramps up the performance. Definitely get your hands on it and try it. It's Blue Sapphire from SAMY ANDRAUS Fragrances. We can't talk long-lasting fresh fragrances without one of my current favorite long-lasting fresh fragrances from Authenticity Perfumes. It is Summer Vibes. It is still my favorite from the house. I recently did a video pitting this against their newest fresh release, Fresh Boss, which is a great fragrance, but if I had to pick one, it's still Summer Vibes. This has a citrus medley going on, very aromatic. There's even a slightly fresh and herbaceous cannabis note in here. It's creamy, it's soapy, and like I said, it's super bright and fresh. There's lime, there's orange, there's tangerine, there's all kinds of citruses up top in this one. Beautiful fragrance with a nice lavender to give it that aromatic quality. And on my skin, I get about 10 hours. They advertise 12 plus, and some people I'm sure get that. If you spray your clothes, I'm sure you'll get that. But the oil concentration is so high, I don't like to spray my clothes with Authenticity Perfumes fragrances because they're 50% oil concentration. That's just too much to put on clothes for me. That's going to make an oil spot and stain. But on skin, man, is it loud. And like I said, I get 10 plus, you know, 10 to 11, and it potentially could go 12 on my skin. I just don't know, because I usually take a shower at that point, because I'm an evening shower type of person. Man, unique, a little generic in the opening because it's so soapy and shower jelly, but as it starts to calm down a few minutes in, it really starts to change and become a unique fragrance known as Summer Vibes, and not smell like everything else. There's a link down below. Save yourself 10%. Get a sample, get a bottle, get a sample pack, but definitely check it out. This is a must try from the house. If you're only going to try one fragrance from them, my vote is definitely Summer Vibes. Citrusy, musky, clean, soapy floral iris. That's probably the best way to describe Galloway from Parfums de Marly, and at the same time, it's every bit of a 9 to 10 hour fragrance with solid projection for about the first 3 hours on my skin anyways. Beautiful, beautiful. And look, I'm not a big fan of musky fragrances, but this is a very clean, soapy, musky fragrance, and I just love the way it smells. Super fresh, underrated, doesn't get a lot of love. Probably the most long-lasting freshie from the house, honestly. Don't get me wrong, I love Sedley. Greenlee was a great release. I still plan on getting a full bottle of that. I have a decant from Sense Angel. But Galloway, it just doesn't get enough love. This is a beautiful, long-lasting, fresh fragrance that deserves some attention from you guys. There's always ways to get samples. They're all over online, especially if you check eBay from reputable sellers. Just check their feedback, do your research. There's a ton of reputable sellers out there. And if you're ready for a bottle, you can always get it at a great discount from Vimba Fragrances, which is always linked in my videos, which is where all of my bottles of Parfums de Marly came from, except for Sedley. This one came from them as well. It's a must try. If you like musky, clean musk, and you like iris, and it's very soapy, it's not overly powdery. I'm gonna spray this one again, because man, it's just such a great fragrance. Very versatile as well, great in the warm weather. Parfums de Marly. This is Galloway. So really in this spot, you could go Acqua di Gio Absolute Instinct. You could go Acqua di Gio Profondo, one of the newer releases. But for me, I had to go with Acqua di Gio Absolu because it's a monster off of my skin. It's extremely fruity and fresh. Draws a lot of positive attention for me. It's one of my favorite designer fragrances that just happens to be extremely fresh and very loud and long lasting on my skin. One that's polarizing. Some people don't care for. Some people don't like this fragrance. And that's okay. Everything's subjective. I happen to really enjoy this one. I've mentioned it recently in a video. It's like I said, it gets me a ton of compliments. It's not every single time I wear it, but it's a high probability. It's a damn good fragrance. I love the way it smells. Based on my experience, those around me love the way it smells on me. And it's every bit of 10 hours off of my skin. And I mean loud for like 3 hours. Loud, loud, loud. Almost filling a room kind of loud. And it just doesn't get enough love. That's why I chose to feature this one instead of Profondo, because Profondo works perfectly fine in this video as well. That's extremely marine, aquatic, super fresh, and is every bit of 8 to 10 hours on my skin. And it's the most popular release from the line currently, even though a flanker to that just came out, Profondo Lights, which I'll get at some point. But extremely fresh, extremely loud, extremely long lasting. It's Acqua di Gio. This is Absolu. Oldie but a goodie. Not super old, but old enough at this point. Talking about PACO Rabanne Invictus. This stuff is so long lasting and loud off of my skin. It's absurd. One of my favorite fragrances, that beautiful, sweet, aquatic, bubblegummy type of smell. Super, super fresh. And just loud. Loud, loud, loud. 12-hour fragrance on my skin. Room filler for the first few hours. Especially the first 2 hours. It's a room filler off of my skin. It's still a great fragrance. You know, if it's one you had before and got away from, maybe it's time to get another bottle and revisit it and go back to it. If you've never tried it before, don't knock it until you try it. A lot of fragrances have replicated this opening and used it in their newer release fragrances for a reason. Because it's a compliment machine and it's a beloved scent. Very youthful, don't get me wrong. Not a mature scent. It's much more modern for being its age, but This had a cult following for a long time. Invictus has spawned several flankers in its own line, and the opening has been ripped off by a ton of other companies for good reason. Like I said, it's a great fragrance. It's one of my favorite fragrances in my collection, bar none. And it's one that's so long lasting and so fresh, it had to be in this video. Like I said, don't knock it until you try it if you haven't tried it yet. And if you had it before, maybe it's time to revisit it again. And that's the original Invictus from PACO Rabanne. Last but not least, one of my favorite freshies that has a uniqueness to it that's super long lasting for me. It's a grassy green, it's salty and aquatic. It's MANCERA Wave Musk. I know I've featured this one a few times recently. It was most recently in my weekly rotation video because I just wore it last week. Such a good fragrance. I wore it on Sunday for our outdoor hike. It's so good. 8 to 10 hours, you know. Sometimes I get 8, sometimes I get 9, sometimes I get 10. Not a heavy enough oil concentration to where you can't spray your clothes. I definitely spray my clothes when I want to get closer to that 10-hour range. Last time I just sprayed my skin. I didn't really clock it, but like I said, believable, authentic grass note in this one. Believable, authentic sea salt note in this one. The grapefruit adds a nice citrus component that's not too sharp and in your face. It's a beautiful fragrance. Not the easiest one to find from what people have been telling me in the comments, because I've been talking about this one lately and they've been asking me about it. I don't know where to find it. I haven't been hunting it down because I own a bottle. I've had this bottle for quite some time, well over a year, pushing to 2 years at this point. And it's one that if you can find it for sub $100 range, I say it's worth it. I love this fragrance. Sample it if you can. If not, roll the dice and blind buy if you're comfortable with it. But I love this fragrance. It's great. It's one of the best and most favorite in my collection that is super fresh and long lasting. So it had to be in this video. Again, that's MANCERA. This is Wave Musk. Well, that's my picks for this video topic. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. What in this video have you tried already? Let me know down in the comments what has piqued your interest, because some of these get a lot of love in this community. Some of them get no love in this community. And definitely this is all based off of my experience on my skin. How they will perform on you will vary. Some of you are going to get similar performance. Some of you will get weaker. Some of you are going to get even better. It's all subjective to an individual basis. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances I featured in this video today, and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.